Good morning. Hey everybody, how you doing? How you doing? What's going on? I hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I'm going to enjoy this Monday because I got my team back again. That's right. We're coming back again to help you with your wealth. It's all about wealth. It's all about what you can do moving forward. So without further ado, let's welcome the team. What's going on, people? How was your weekend?
Mine was phenomenal. I was very relaxed. I did some work and I love the rain. Like if I sit inside my house and drink my hot Venezuelan chocolate and just with bread, I'm so like happy. So that's what I did over the weekend. And yesterday and Saturday, I just chill with my boys, watch movies and work. That's it.
Not once did she mention about getting us anything. You heard that, Peter, right? Not once did she say, "Oh, thought about you guys on the weekend. Couldn't wait for Monday to do the show all over again." I didn't hear nothing.
I did some research too for today. That's part of the work.
It's too late. Too late. You had your chance. Too late. So how about you, Peter? How was your weekend?
Everything's good. I never thought I would get to the place in the world where me setting a speaker outside would be considered extreme, and me having some friends over on a Saturday night would be breaking the law. But this is the place we live. But I made the most of it,
That's right. That's right. I just sit here. I don't think I watched the most movies. I got the Netflix stick, the Roger stick. I'm watching movies like it's going out of style. That's all I do. Sit and watch movies. So might as well. But today is another great show. If you're just joining us, for the whole last week, we've been learning about crypto and learning about Bitcoin and how to diverse your folder and what to buy, how to buy it, what to do, and what to do. And like I said, Polkadot, I'm just going to keep saying Polkadot because that's my favorite one. Okay, moving forward. The show today, my friend, is how to buy, what to do, and how to buy. So let's do some backtrack real quick. I know I always get you to do this, Peter, but just so people understand, give us the Roadrunner real fast on what this is all about.
Okay, so there's a new technology. The technology solved the problem, which was there's nothing digital that could be rare. Everything digital was multipliable. So a technology came out called Bitcoin with a concept as a white paper, and then eventually got tested, and now it's been around 10, 11 plus years. It's only has 21 million units. Each unit has a division of 10 million small units. So there's 10 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. There's only 21 Bitcoins that are ever going to exist on the planet. It's picking up momentum, and we've never had something with such a massive network effect, whether it be a stock, a social media company, grow at such an exponential rate and be capped. Everything else, they'll make more Tesla shares. They'll make more Amazon shares. They'll dig more gold in the ground. This is the first time we have a technology that no matter how much demand the world asks for it, there's still going to be a cap of 21 million. And this is where we're at today, of why, for beginners, how do you get involved? How do you get your piece of those 10 million Satoshis or whatever number you're buying?
Right. And then funny enough, as we were speaking about, you're talking about the art one, about, the art something. And I saw, the guy put an art one. He's like, "Oh, here's my first art one." And he put it out. I was like, I know what he's talking about. Peter taught me this. And I'm like, oh, this has gotten crazy because everything is starting to blow up. People are starting to do it. So you got to jump on it, man. You got to jump on it. All right. So let's go. What is our steps?
Okay, so let's go with the safest way first. So if you're a very small investor, if you're in a part of the world that's not economically thriving like others, $200, $100 could be a lot of money, right? But to anyone in the world where you can make that in a day or a couple of days' wage, it would be highly, highly recommended. Anyone go buy it. Doesn't have to be this company. I'm gonna name a few companies, but it's about having your coins stored off the internet. And there's lots of competitors that offer you solutions to do that. The most common one is a Nano Ledger S. There's also a company named Trezor and another company called KeepKey. Those are the three big ones. And they all make their own versions of a thing that looks like a USB stick, but it's actually made to take your cryptocurrency, whether it be Bitcoin or another one, off the internet. So the most important part with these things is, before I get sidetracked, is you have to make sure that when you write down the words, store them in two different places. I keep saying this every time because people have no idea how important it is not to have 24 words written down, which could have, like, especially if you're buying a ledger and a nano, you're probably putting something that you care about financially. And if that grows exponentially, you don't want to have somebody having access to that. Personally, I laminate 12 words and 12 words. And I go to 2 different places to laminate the 12 and laminate the 12 because I'm a paranoid guy. But safe better than sorry. And why I laminate is paper does deteriorate, paper get wet, things could happen. If you laminate your paper and you have it stored somewhere, the likelihood of it getting destroyed just over time helps dramatically. Whereas there's many factors that could happen to a piece of paper. So for people who are getting into it with bigger wealth, definitely go out of your way. Don't even bother learning how to use exchanges unless you're planning to hold a bunch of altcoins. If your goal is to own Bitcoin specifically, you could literally just buy a Trezor, a Ledger, a KeepKey, and then have it sent right off the internet when you buy it. So your coins are never even on the internet in the first place. And that's by far the safest and best way. But again, some people aren't living in a place where they can just afford couple $100 to start investing. Like that might be their whole investment. Some people might only have 50 or 250 bucks. So for those people, that's when we recommend a wallet. And again, to edify, a wallet is a cryptocurrency slang. There's no actual physical wallet that you have, just like you have a Bitcoin bank account, and the slang we use in cryptocurrency is a wallet, so people understand. And me and Charles were talking about this the other day. Before, there was a big distinction between wallets and exchanges, because before, especially like 5 years plus ago, it was pretty much just Bitcoin on wallets. And yeah, not even Ethereum. Almost all wallets, I would say 95, 99% of wallets were just Bitcoin. And then for you to get exposure to any other coin, you would have to join an exchange. But these days, kind of wallets and exchanges, an exchange, for anyone that doesn't know, somewhere you buy and sell cryptocurrency, they have them in stocks as well. That's a more common terminology. So now the way the wallets are, there's built-in exchanges without making it complicated in a lot of them. So all of a sudden now you download a wallet and you have a lot of features that you would have to be on exchange on before. So now the difference between a wallet and exchange in most cases, it seems like there's not much difference. Where before the slang came out for a wallet for just being a Bitcoin wallet. Now it's you pretty much have a mini exchange in your pocket when you sign up to most wallets. Some wallets still keep a classic, but even the classic wallets I noticed are still holding several coins now, not just Bitcoin. They're holding 2, 3, sometimes 5, 10 options of coins for you to hold in their wallet.
All right, so right there, just take a look. So that's for the big ones, okay? That's the key that he was talking about. It's a little program that you plug in, okay? It holds it so it's like not floating around. Like he said, it's safe. Somewhere that you can keep safe. That's one version right there. There's many other versions, but there's a couple that he mentioned. That's the idea. You want something you can download, store, and put away, correct? Save it somewhere, put it in a drawer somewhere, put it safe. You know what I mean? Have duplicate of it so you don't forget the numbers and everything, because that's the main thing. Once you forget your password,
you're lost.
And it's that, and the thing
that's the biggest learning curve. That is by far the biggest learning curve. I feel like for especially like a lot of young people have never really done finance or investing, so they had nothing to lose in the first place. So there's not much learning there. But for the older generations that are used to holding things in banks and in stock brokerages and things of that nature, as long as you can prove your identity, there's always a way you can get it back. In this new world, even if you prove your identity, there's no one to help you with those passwords. You're in charge of your money. It's like losing cash. It's like you lose a big bundle of cash on the street. Well, you could go cry about it to a bunch of people, but it's not going to make your cash come back, right? So that is a big learning curve for a lot of the people that grew up with a different standard, especially we entered the digital world with that kind of standard. And now that standard is more likely to go out the window faster than people could imagine, because almost everything will become on a blockchain, on an NFT of some form going down the future. And that will become the new norm. Right now, it's weird because we started with this unnatural norm of digital interactions where someone is like our father or mother or grandparent or whatever you want to look at it. It's like someone's taking care of us the whole time. Like we're not smart enough as human beings to handle our own finances. That's pretty much what we grew up in. And now there's people like me with a young face being like, no, you could manage your own finances. And the old people are like, why? I could just, even if something goes wrong, I go in with my ID and I get it back. But that's cool. because that's a comfort zone, right? Just like when there's horse and buggies and the guy was making the buggies, he said, why would I diversify the cars? My dad's been making horse and buggies, my dad's dad, but we're in the change right now where if you want to stay, and as you see, the world is going more and more digital. You want to stay relevant in this digital frontier, you have to get comfortable with digital platforms you might have not used before, technologies you never considered even using in your life. You thought, well, I learned how to use YouTube. I learned how to use Google. I learned how to use the internet. Why would I need to learn anything else now? Well, you don't have to, but if you want to stay relevant in society, that's the way we're going, more and more digital. Like all these digital memes, like all these kids doing memes, those are all going to be NFTs in the future, right? There's going to be all digital interactions going to have a form of payment attached to it. That's where we're headed to. That's going to be the norm. So doing digital interactions for free because someone captures all of our data information, sells it to somebody else where we get to use the interface for free, that model is getting obsolete by the day. And that's why it's important diversifying something like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because these are the technology on these layers. This new platform is going to be built. This new 3.0 internet I've talked about before, or this new way of operating. We don't know if it's going to be built on Bitcoin, Ethereum, or another Polkadot, Binance token, whatever blockchain is going to be built on, or one that hasn't come out yet. But there will be layers on top of these technologies that create concepts we can't even grasp. Concepts our minds, like I said, still can't even understand. Just like people who were using email in the late 90s could have never guessed the boom of social media and to what extent we use it now, right? So same thing with this technology. Yeah, we could see us owning our digital rights is going to give us more options, but we're still looking at it from this world, right? Another good example is people, when they predicted the future in the 50s, the biggest change they seen back to the cars was no cars to cars. They remember their great grandpa talking about horses. So all they could think about when they were futurists were talking about in the 50s were flying cars, because the biggest advancement in their life was seeing something go faster. So why wouldn't that escalate? But no, something went digital. That was the biggest evolution. If you look at the biggest evolution that happened since the 1950s, it wasn't our cars and planes getting that much faster, even though they did get better. But the true curve was in technology. And a lot of people assume it's going to be stay in technology. But I actually just started studying a gentleman who's big into marketing through the mind and using outside the box concepts. And it could be like a whole different thing. And who's to say like, yeah, technology is going to take off, but it doesn't have to be social media again. We're just assuming it's going to be social media and finance that takes off in technology. But who knows what the young generation is going to innovate when they have so much more possibilities, so much more options to innovate digitally. We don't know what they're going to do. Who's to say they're going to stay to just social media? But that isn't easy. And finance, of course, is not going anywhere. Interacting with people is not going anywhere. So those forms are here to stay, but the options are going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And just learning how to use Bitcoin, getting into it, is your doorstep. No one's saying that's the end all. No one's saying if you buy $100 or $1,000 of Bitcoin, you're going to be retired. But that's your first step to getting into this world, into understanding new technology. And that's why it's important to take those steps.
All right. So if you don't want to be left behind, okay, learn a little bit at a time. And that's the thing. I know new technology is scary. Just ask my dad. I'm like, Dad, it's the same button on the VCR, it's the same button over here. It doesn't change. But like he said, old school is old school. If people,
that's right.
Some people still want to drive over to the bank, put their money in, and get the teller to still stamp their card.
The book.
Yeah, they still have the book. Hey, that's what they want to do. But the world's changing. So if you want to get into new technology, learn a little bit at a time, this is what you got to do. All right. So before we move on to the next step, let's thank our sponsor. We want to thank our sponsor because without our sponsor, this show would not be possible. So we want to thank our sponsors so much. And they have different locations: Scarborough, Richmond Hill, and Mississauga. Make sure you give her a call. It's right there, all about a Bitcoin exchange. You can work together. I know, Peter, you know her really well. So we talked about it. Maybe at the end, we'll, make your own, what we talk about, your own coin. We're thinking about
NFT. We have an NFT image. Me and the lady are making a documentary together. So we have a flyer that's kind of digitized. So we'll release it on the last episode as a show, as a sneak peek to the documentary coming out. And like I said, if things go well, most likely will make that into the first NFT as like a fun project as well.
There you go. And I'm still waiting for you guys to see my Bitcoin. There it is. That's going to be mine on my head. Maria, what's yours? What your coin going to look like?
My smile.
Yeah.
There you go. See? Because that's a funny thing. Like Peter said before, you never know what takes off. Okay?
Yeah.
I might not even afford your coin. After you put your smile on it, it becomes so high that I can't even afford it. I'd be like, yo, Peter, what happened? We were helping her at this thing, and now we can't even afford her own coin. So anything is possible. All right. So we got the wallet. We remember to save our codes, laminate the paper, which is a great idea because anything can spill on it. After time, it deteriorates. You take it out the drawer, it rips by accident. You know what I mean? You got to have your stuff. So laminate it. Have more than one copy. Hide them somewhere, just in case you can't remember one. There's backups. We mentioned about the backup, depending on the savings that you do, how much money you save. There's tools out there, right? There's different tools to keep it, like a USB key. You put it in, it saves it. All right, what's the next step?
Okay, so now just getting comfortable with the new technology interface, right? So when you open a wallet, or whether it be on the KeepKey, the Ledger, the Trezor, or an exchange like Binance or Bittrex, or whether you just open like a wallet like Blockchain or Trust, right? It's very important to back it up again. So even if you don't get the KeepKey, there's actually, like, Trust makes you write down 12 words before you sign up. That's why I've been recommending their wallet most recently. But if you go into like Blockchain or most other wallet settings after you sign up, they have 12 words there also. Here's the thing though. I just had a horror story happen literally 2 days ago from a newbie in cryptocurrency. And it blew my mind because I've been using the Blockchain app for like 5+ years. And I just recently stopped recommending it because it was giving me trouble moving Ethereum to certain exchanges. I don't like being restricted in cryptocurrency. So the gentleman, this is his first consultation with me, but he just through a mutual friend, through a lady friend of ours, she kind of helped him out a little bit, but he decided to do massive research on his own, right? And massive Google searches. Be very, very, very careful as a newbie to cryptocurrency. Either get consultation advice and sit with someone that knows what they're doing, or be very careful about where you're joining. So this happened to a professional partner. I'll go to the second part of the story, like literally a month or two ago. And this just happened 2 days ago to a friend of mine. We can actually pull up the account on another episode if we need to, but it's not relevant. What he did is, we didn't know at first. So we go in, he said, I had Bitcoin. He bought like $150 of Bitcoin, $50 of Ethereum. He's like, we transferred a little bit of Ethereum from one account to another. He's never done a transfer, right? So the lady friend made the one transfer for him. Now he bought some Ethereum. He wanted to move it from one wallet to the next. Very basic, just learning how to use it, right? So we send a little piece of Ethereum over, and he looks and he goes, hey, there's no Bitcoin in my account. I'm like, what are you talking about, right? I just opened his wallet for the first time, and I go, yeah, you're right, there's no Bitcoin. He goes, I don't even know how to do this. Like, I came to you to learn how to do this. So I scroll down, and he was at my house to say 2 p.m. At 10 a.m. that day, somebody withdrew his Bitcoin. Here's the thing, though, what makes it pseudo-anonymous, though, right? You can track the account. I don't know who that guy is, but I can see what he had account. So I clicked on his account, and I followed it, and he did 1,350 transactions just that day. And his wallet had 2.5 Bitcoins. So off my gentleman here, whatever 1% of Bitcoin, it's like a tiny piece. So what he did was, this gentleman must have, at some point days ago, logged into his blockchain on his computer, which he told me he did. But he went into Google, typed blockchain, and didn't realize the first one was an ad. It's called a phishing hook, or it's the most common hack besides a Wi-Fi hack, which are actually a little bit more complicated. But this would be the easiest hack that most people do because they hack themselves. So they go into the site. It looks identical. It looks exactly like blockchain. You type in your information, and then they actually link you to the actual blockchain. So it looks like they have a little firewall. So it looks like blockchain. If you don't see the 1 digit off on the top, he logged in, and these guys must have collected password for days, weeks, whatever it was, and then just launched the hack that day because they know when blockchain catches on, they're going to shut them down, at least on that frontier. So this is a gentleman that sometimes doing massive research is great, but from the right sources. And then maybe signing up to 5 different wallets without buying anything is the lesson I learned there. Is not the right decision. That's why we started off explaining the importance of ledgers, KeepKeys, Trezors. Those things are going to happen. And if possible, if you want to be very careful, which always recommend, especially if you're a big investor or you're already invested in life and you're diversifying to crypto and you're going to go big chunks, go on a computer that's not on Wi-Fi. Like the computer I trade with at home has an Ethernet cable. I've had an Ethernet cable on a computer in I don't know how many years since I last traded. So now that I'm dipping back into day trading, I'm like, I don't want my zero chance of my Wi-Fi being hacked, anything of that matter. So another horror story is a month ago. It happens to newbies and it happens to professionals. One of my oldest business partners in the space, been in the space 5+ years as well. Investor, like in Ethereum when it came out, all these ICOs, like he knows how to basic do copy paste the coding. Like this is a crypto person, right? And 1 year ago, the mistake he made was I don't know, full disclosure, me and him like do business together. So I have my Trezor at his place. So sometimes when I need a certain part of the account, I'll just call him and get him to forward it to me. So last year he forwarded 8 Ethereum. They were like $250 back then. And he did 1 digit wrong at the end. 1 wrong digit wrong. And the thing is, nobody has it. It's in the ether. Like maybe, I don't know how Ethereum wallets work. Maybe one day somebody opens an Ethereum wallet and they have 8 Ethereum. I hope that's the case. Because it's either going to be that or they're just gone forever. That's another reason why cryptocurrency stays so valuable. Because there's so many people who lose passwords. People are social and they stack up a lot of cryptocurrency because they're like a programmer and they pass away without having a proper will. Like there's tons of these examples where cryptocurrency is gone. So me and my buddy are good partners. So I go, you know what? No big deal. It's $1,000 each. We'll split the loss. But see how cryptocurrency works. You rewind a year later, those 8 Ethereum are worth a lot more, right? They're worth 10 times that now, right? So that's why you have to be very, very careful with crypto. So the same partner, again, these are 2 rare mistakes out of hundreds or thousands of transactions he does every year, right? He did the same mistake as the other gentleman. He went into Google and he hasn't used Ether Delta in a long time. He went in what he thought was Ether Delta, put in his private key. It was late that night, so he just verified everything was there. He had some ideas he wanted to do the next day. Wakes up the next day, all his Ethereum is gone. And the hackers are so greedy. The way they did it is he had it in 2 places. So they took the small chunk of Ethereum and missed the big one. But they took it all. They didn't have enough to do a gas fee. A gas fee is you have to have some Bitcoin Ethereum left to do a transaction. So they set Ethereum back so they could take out everything he had. And then he realized he had land in Decentraland. It's a virtual platform that's built decentrally. It's kind of like Second Life, but you could own digital real estate there. So his private key to his digital real estate was there. He lost like 6-7 Ether. The real estate alone was worth like 15-20K US. So like these losses happen, and I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this so you're careful. Cautious. And this is not horror stories to not get into crypto. This just shows you how much opportunity and excitement there is. Like, yeah, you're hearing those stories. But there's just as many stories where people have made life-changing income and haven't lost it. But I need to share the horror stories so people don't make those mistakes. And if you do, at least you listen to it, you heard it, and you probably won't make it twice, right? So hopefully you don't make it 0 times by listening to a podcast like this and whoever else is mentoring you. But very, very important to be double check, triple check everything. Again, we talked about it's on you now, right? There's no one to complain to. At the end of the day, we made the mistake. The gentleman went on the wrong phishing site. We hit the wrong code, whatever it is. It's still human error. The actual network didn't fail us, whether it be Ethereum, Bitcoin. And that's important to know. It's a human error, not an error of the technology.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the main thing, too, because it could be anything. Don't forget, when you're paying your bills online, going online, doing banking and all that stuff, like you said, don't be doing anything during Wi-Fi. Because when you open up your Wi-Fi, someone's sitting there crabbing your Wi-Fi codes, hacking onto your network. So do things properly. Take your time. There's no rush. It's your thing. So do it when you're wide awake, when you have hardwired, and go through. Everything needs to be hardwired. That's a great point right there.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that about the hardware. Okay, here comes my question, right?
Yep.
Is it my turn now? Okay, so I was doing exactly what you just said. I went and Googling over the weekend to have my questions ready. So I Googled like best wallets to use, difference between one and another. I started with blockchain back in when you started talking on IWB about this. So I created my account for a blockchain. We tried to transfer to Trust. Definitely does not allow me to transfer to Trust. They all ask me for verification of ID. if I don't do the verification, I put my driver license in, I cannot do more than $100 or something like that. Some of them. So, is it okay to verify the?
Maria, we always talk about the same thing. You like giving governments your information. I don't understand. We differ there. You run at giving it to them. I run away from giving it to them. You like run and give them all your information. Don't do that. Every single wallet, there's a skip option. Skip. If there's not, you shouldn't be using the wallet.
But I did Binance, and Binance also asked me for the.
No, you don't. You just go skip, and you can be on there anonymously, 100%. So just imagine, it's like signing up to iPad the first time you've ever done it. Just you have to know how to get by things. They're gonna want you to sign every contract and give all your information. We warned this last time. If a platform is making you do that, don't use that platform. And I don't even know of very many platforms unless they're like sanctioned from the company and the government. Like unless you're not using a crypto platform, unless you're using like Gemini Exchange or you're using something that started from the corporate world, then what you're saying applies. But anything started in crypto that's real always has the option to skip. So I don't know if you're looking at like, remember, Google is no longer a search engine that's filled with information. It's a search engine filled with ads. And there's a lot of money to be made in cryptocurrency. So when you're going to Google and you're searching common terminologies, you're not looking at 20 great wallets. You're looking at who's the last 20 people that paid Google to be on that page that you're looking at, right? Yeah. So you're looking through probably wallets that are pressuring you by all means. For example, last time, they're not innovating. They're not changing the world. They just want, when the masses enter, they want to get their 0.25%, 2%, 1%, whatever it is, off your fees. So they're pushing by all means to get your information, to get you to sign up your bank. Because what's the easiest human things can do? Why is Amazon do so well in online shopping? You would just click, and it shows up, right? So they want that same, they don't want you to go get cash somewhere, show up, meet up with a person or ATM, right? They're thinking you'll do more sporadic purchases, and more purchases means more transaction fees to them. If you could just sit at home, see on the news, oh my God, something's moving in crypto, and you're gonna go click, right? So it gives you two factors. Like not giving your identity actually will force you to buy things the right way, right? I feel it will help you with buying it the same way, because sometimes you'll be sitting there on a Friday night or Saturday night and you're not gonna go see a broker. You're not gonna go out of your way to buy Bitcoin because you've seen something or you heard something and you think it's gonna go 10 times higher, right? But if you're sitting at home, click, right? And sometimes that's a benefit, but usually for someone that's been in the space several years, trading a long time, someone that's new, that strategy is actually not a good thing. Like every time you can just go buy. So it's any platform that makes you give your identity, don't use them. All the major crypto ones give you the option to skip. Just look through it more thoroughly, right? And then they'll keep giving you reminders, KYC. Like Bittrex has been asking me to give my identity my whole career. You know what I mean? They're always giving me reminders, this, that, the third, add your bank. Doesn't mean you have to do it, right? It's like an email blast that somebody's sending you, right? It's there, but there's ways around it. So just make sure you find ones that don't need it. And Binance, for example, is one that you do not need to give your identity 100% off.
Okay, so I did, because I was trying to change from my blockchain to Binance, and it says you cannot take more than $100 deposit if you don't do the verification ID. And I'm like, okay. So I wasn't.
No. Binance, you could take out 2 Bitcoins a day, in or out, anonymously, 100%. I did the research on that. Okay. So there's one small thing you're not clicking to let you bypass whatever you're stuck on.
Okay.
Just look through it a little bit more thoroughly.
Man, which one do you use?
All right, so hold on. Let me backtrack a little bit, because this is something that everybody should know, and this is not just for Bitcoin or anything else. In the world we live at right now, with social media and everything is going digital, yes, you'll see sometimes you get all these emails that pop into your email saying, "Oh, your bank is something going wrong. Click the link so you can look at your bank." Here's a hint: if any email says "Dear Sir" or "Madam," don't click on it, because it's not really yours. If it was really your bank, they would say, "Dear, your name, sir, your name," that's coming directly from you, or they would use your bank account number or a little bit of your number. There's a lot of stuff out there. Even when you get a phone and a new app, it says, "We want to use your location. Yes or no." You don't have to give them your location and all that stuff. So always, like he said, there's always options to say, do it later. Just say, yes, you'll do it later. And you never do it. it gives you the option. Everything always has the option to skip, or they say, yes, we want your banking information, or we want your information. You say no, it says, okay, do it later. And it will keep popping up because they want it. It'll keep popping up. Just say, do it later. Do it later. That's all. All right. And that just doesn't just go for Bitcoin. That goes for any technology out there because, yes, you get those people that call you, oh, you owe this, or they'll send you an email. Take your time and look at it properly and figure out and go, wait a minute. Do they really need my information? Do they really need this now? No, skip. And that goes for anything that you guys are doing. All right. Make sure that you guys are knowing that out there. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial. And when we come back, we're going to dive into some more. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere.
Immigrant Women in Business, IWB, is a non-profit organization bringing together women from over 50 different countries around the globe. These women have now made Canada their home and share a common goal of providing value to their new sisters. Our motto of "We are stronger together" resonates with all members, and with a diverse membership of business leaders, entrepreneurs and community builders, our goal is to make Canada better and provide guidance and leadership to those that follow.
CMJ Entertainment is a one-stop shop. CMJ Entertainment helps people do any type of events, and it's a marketing tool as well. So we'll cover everything from start to finish. If it's a wedding, we'll make sure your wedding is over the top. And if it's an event, we make sure that everybody gets information at the end of the day. Give us a call at 416-414-8964 or online, go to cmjent.com. Yes, we are back live. And something I actually like that we went into that segment because you got to be safe out there. Anything you do, I don't care if it's Bitcoin or anything else, always be safe. And I love how Peter talks about that. It's called skip. Skip it. Move on to the next one. All right. So next thing we got to do, Peter, is move on. What do we do after that? So we find out which one it is, the wallet, find the technology. What's next on the list?
Okay, so I just overemphasized the important parts because we mentioned the next step, which is the easiest and hardest step. The easiest in the sense of it's all around you everywhere, and the hardest to actually take action on. Downloading the app is free. Putting your email in is free. Now you gotta do that hard thing and take your hard-earned money, or your money. Some people are just getting it these days, right? It's not always hard-earned in this new serve world. And actually taking the risk of buying something out of your comfort zone.
Right.
So there is always, no matter where you are, we talked about this a couple episodes. If you live in a small place, there's a city or a bigger town beside you. And if you research, like you can start with your smaller place if that's the case, and there's no brokers, no ATMs, well, go to the nearest city town and start searching there. And there was local Bitcoins, which is like interface for people, like regular people that try to buy Bitcoin. Almost everywhere in the world 5 years ago, you could buy and sell Bitcoins with local Bitcoins. And since then, it's escalated 100x. So local Bitcoins is the most, if you're like somewhere very remote, most places have established brokers or have ATMs. So I like brokers a lot more these days because you can build a relationship, you can get a better percentage point. But if you're not social, or for some reason there is no broker, but there is an ATM in a city or a town near you, and you're starting off the smaller figure, again, something you're willing to just spend in the day anyway, just to learn the technology, why not use the ATM to get yourself started, right? Then you might have to get yourself to an event or something of that nature to find a community of people that will help you. That's always the best way. Don't go about this by yourself. Start off by yourself, nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to be in the space, find a couple people. They don't have to be friends. They can just be acquaintances you can reach out to. You could call me. Like, I love talking about this stuff. I'm a big nerd about it, right? So just find someone that loves it. When you have little silly questions or a little text, it could save you a lot more, give you a lot more emotional stability, just knowing that you're not alone in the space, right? Getting into something like this that's kind of exciting, scary, all the above, and not having somebody to talk about it with, or even worse, the only people you talk about it with make the funniest face when you talk to them about it, or go, what, why, right? So you need some people that make you seem sane for being in it. But yeah, that was a good decision. Good job. Get more, right? Because most people are going to give you the opposite reaction. They're going to be like, what did you buy? You put your what into what, right? So
like I did, right? You're telling me don't do the verification, and that freaking app keeps telling me you have to verify, otherwise I don't let your money go nowhere. And I'm like, okay, what should I do?
And here's a funny thing too. Yes, it's exciting, but don't rush. I'd rather you see everybody take your time, learn. That's why we're doing these episodes. So Peter can help you learn, take your time, then get in. You rather learn, take your time, than rush and miss the step or forget a step. And like he said, one number, or you forget your code, or you rushed and you wrote down the wrong digit, or when you're writing down your digits, you're doing things too fast. The 5 looks like an S. And you're like, well, is it a 5 or is it an S? And you're trying all these codes and you try too many and it locks you out. What do? And you know what I mean? Take your time. There's no rush. Take your time. Do things properly. That's what you need to do. So there you go. All right. And then, like he said, in Brampton, I just Googled it while you guys were talking about, the ATMs and where's around me and stuff like that. And it's real simple. All I went in is what ATMs, a Bitcoin exchange in my area, and poop, it just popped up a whole bunch of them. So it's up to me now to drive to one, learn about it, feel comfortable with which one I like, and go from there. So I love that advice, Peter. That was great advice.
Amazing.
All right. So what's the next step after we decide on which one we're going to do? We're not listening to people because they're going to be like, don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. We go away from the naysayers. After we put in, what do we do?
So we just find a consistent amount that's weekly, monthly, or bi-weekly to keep putting into it, right? And if necessarily you want to be passionate about the space, but your finances are low, it's still about the habit, right? If you do, let's say, monthly, and you put in $10 a month, it's not about it's just about the habit of doing it. And now let's say you're someone that's not too good with finances or money in general in life so far, which again, find whatever you can, and then there's other things you could do. You could learn to code. You could learn to do other things in the space you want to be passionate about. It doesn't have to be trading your $100 to $1 million. That's not going to happen. You're most likely to lose your $100. So you're better off just holding an asset and adding to that asset slowly by slowly, right? And by doing that, you're going to learn a bit more about the space, stay engaged into it. And when other opportunities come around, whether they be other investments in the space, or maybe some kind of employment, volunteering, or you have an idea, you decide to build it. There's tons of courses online to learn to code, and they gamify it for you. They made it like a game, and it's free. We'll pull up a link of websites on another episode so we get deeper into coding and all that. But all these resources are free right now. So once you get your little bit, either start putting a lot more time, or start putting a little bit of money every month, and that will just give you the habit. Even if you spend 1 hour a month on Bitcoin, driving to that ATM to that broker once a month, that's an extra conversation you're going to have. That's the extra 3 times you're going to see the logo. There's going to be something that you pay attention to that you didn't the month before. And I feel like those are the people that succeed in cryptocurrency or investing in general, don't just put in one time and forget. They stay active in the space, and whatever that may mean to you, right? And active usually means putting some more energy. And energy could be in the sense of money, time, in most cases, both, if you're going to be a good investor. I would put in time and money and continuously repeat that cycle. And as soon as you think you're an expert, it's probably when you're going to lose your money as an investor. So always stay learning, always stay humble, and always stay consistent. And these are the pillars that will get you on the right track. And almost everyone will agree with those fundamentals. Now, you want to be a bigger risk taker, you want to go there's lots of options. But that is just consistently put time, a little bit of money, a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and it'll go a long, long way.
All right. So what we're going to do right now is enter to win, #CMJ Live. We're going to pick our winner. So if you haven't entered yet, do it now. We're going to pick our winner. And you're going to have a free consultation with Peter. And we're just going to talk about, how to be safe. This is the episode, what to do. You got a free consultation with Peter himself, the man himself, one-on-one, 20 minutes on the phone, and say, okay, Peter, what do I do so I don't do the same thing Maria's doing? So I do it. All right.
That's what I'm here for, so that we can guide people, right? So I'm the mistake, and you guys help me fix it. I'm coming to see you this week so that we put more money into my account, and that we can change my thing.
All right, so enter to win right now. I see a couple of people putting it in. Real quick, we're going to do that before we let Peter go. #CMJ Live. Enter it now. I see a couple of people entering it, and we're going to pick a winner. All right. So while they're doing that, Maria, do you have any questions before we pick our winner today?
No, I'm good. I think I already did all my mistakes and it's all covered. So I'm gonna let it pass. I have more questions, but I'm not gonna throw them right now.
But here's the funny thing about it, though. I love what you said. You learn from your mistakes and then you move on forward. Because here's the thing: it's a learning tool. If we never learn from our mistakes, we won't be great, right? So that's why Peter said, put in a little bit. Start off small. Learn, research, get involved, and once you get involved, then once you get it hot, then it's boom, 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 boom. Because who cares? If you make a mistake on $10, $20, $50,
exactly.
I'd rather make a mistake and go, oh, okay, that's what I did wrong. To make thousands and millions later, here we go. All right.
That's the perspective I had with the gentleman who just got hacked. He's like, this is a sign I'm a spiritual guy. Does this mean I should not get into crypto? I was like, but imagine you take that outlook and then crypto goes parabolic in the next 5 years and you knew it. Maybe it's a sign that you're not good with technology, that you should get stronger on your technology and not use the same password 10 different places. And maybe when you make your millions or hundreds of thousands, you'll be able to keep them. And he's like, you know what? I think you might be right. So we agreed on that.
I love that one. See, I don't care. Well, I have 3,000. I don't want to lose it. So
there you go. Because you want to be in the game. That's the main thing. You want to be in the game. If you're not in the game and then you realize you go, I was in the game and I got scared and I pulled out. Well, you had it. You just,
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Drum roll. Here we go. Who's going to be our winner today? It's slowing down. And our winner is...
Wow.
There we go. I can't remember.
I think she won once already.
Yeah, she's being very consistent. That's what I'm saying.
She's stacking. She got the two of them now.
Yeah.
Okay, you know something? I'm going to do another draw. You guys talk ready. I'm still going to make sure, but I want to make sure everybody gets a little taste. So I feel generous today, Peter. So we're going to do one more draw. Here we go. We're going to draw again.
I want Melissa to win it.
There we go. Carl, congratulations. Big up. Thank you for watching. So you got 2 calls, Peter. 2 calls coming in. All right, there we go. You got 2 calls coming in to learn a little bit more about it. So congratulations to our 2 winners today. I feel giveaway Monday. There we go. All right, Peter. Thanks again, as always, to come on board. If you want to know more about it and give him an email, there you go. Make sure you write down this email. If you want to go to his website, there you go. And say, we sent you. All right, my guys. You guys have a great break. We will talk to you on Wednesday when we have another session to learn more about how to do our wealth. See you later.
Thank you, guys.
Has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice. The opinions contained within are solely those of the interviewers and interviewees and should be received as so. Those seeking help or advice are encouraged